various faculty from various departments, coordinator of the Media and Literary Club, Dr. Radhika, coordinator of the webinar, Dr. Jisha, and all participants and my dear students. As we know, the world today is facing one of the worst pandemic situation which we have never witnessed so far. Actually, the WHO has estimated that more than 180 countries across the globe are facing the consequences of this pandemic. So as part of this pandemic, we can see that we have been adopting certain procedures like social distancing, self-isolation, and travel restrictions, and so on. So all this has actually brought about a tremendous change in the emotional and psychological behavior of elders, children, as well as the health workers. So at this time, it is very important or fundamental to provide the citizens with accurate information regarding the outbreak of new variants and as well as the consequences of these viruses. But however, we could find that the social media has been circulating a number of misinformation regarding this pandemic. So I think it is in this context, I should say, that the library, Central Library, as well as the Media and Literary Club of SM College is organizing this webinar on infodemics in times of pandemic. So I think it is one of the appropriate topic which we have selected for today's webinar. And I think we have got
Kollam Srinarayana College Media Clubum, Literary Clubum, Central Library Samyuktamai Sangadipikanna Infodemic in the time of pandemic എന്ന വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ എന്നുള്ള നിലയിൽ ഞാൻ സ്വാഗതം ആശംസിക്കുകയാണ്. നമ്മുടെ വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥി പ്രൊഫസർ G.Suresh സാർ, ജയശ്രീ ടീച്ചർ, ജിഷ ടീച്ചർ, മറ്റ് സഹപ്രവർത്തകരെ, പ്രിയമുള്ള വിദ്യാർത്ഥി സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, വളരെ കൗതുകകരമായിട്ടുള്ള എന്നാൽ ഏറ്റവും വൈജ്ഞാനികമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വിഷയത്തെ അധികരിച്ചാണ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ സെമിനാർ നടക്കുന്നത്. ഇൻഫോഡമിക് എന്നുള്ള പദം ഈ പാൻഡമിക് പീരീഡിലാണ് ഏറ്റവും അർത്ഥസമ്പുഷ്ടമായി നമ്മൾ വിനിമയം ചെയ്തു തുടങ്ങിയത് എന്നതാണ്. അത് കേൾക്കാൻ തന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾക്കും അതിയായ കൗതുകമുണ്ട്. മനുഷ്യ വംശ ചരിത്രത്തിൽ കൊറോണ പോലുള്ള ഒരു മഹാമാരി മുൻപുണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. ഏതാണ്ട് 100 വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുൻപ് ഒന്നാം ലോക മഹായുദ്ധകാലത്ത് 1918 സ്പാനിഷ് ഫ്ലൂ ലോകത്തെ ബാധിച്ചു. ഏതാണ്ട് 4 കോടിയിൽ പരം ജനങ്ങൾ ആ മഹാവ്യാധി ബാധിച്ചു മരണപ്പെട്ടു. ഇന്ന് കൊറോണ വൈറസ് ബാധിച്ച് ദിനംപ്രതി എന്നോണം ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് മരണങ്ങളാണ് ലോകമെമ്പാടും സംഭവിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. കൊറോണ വൈറസ് മനുഷ്യനെ അവന്റെ വ്യക്തിത്വത്തെ തന്നെ നശിപ്പിക്കുന്ന തരത്തിൽ മാസ്ക് ധരിപ്പിച്ച് വീടിനുള്ളിൽ അടച്ചിട്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. പൗരത്വ പ്രക്ഷോഭം നമുക്കറിയാം. പൗരത്വ പ്രക്ഷോഭം അടിച്ചമർത്തപ്പെട്ടതും സമീപകാലത്ത് നടക്കുന്ന ലക്ഷദ്വീപ് ജനതയുടെ മൗലിക അവകാശങ്ങളെ കവർന്നെടുക്കാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചതും കൊറോണയുടെ പേര് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ്. ദുരന്ത നിവാരണ നിയമം ആണ് അതിനെല്ലാം ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. കൊറോണയെ പ്രതിരോധിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള നിയമം അനുസരിച്ച് പ്രതിഷേധങ്ങളെ അടിച്ചമർത്തുന്ന ഒരു സ്വഭാവം ഈ അടുത്ത കാലത്ത് നമ്മൾ രാജ്യമെങ്ങും കണ്ടുവരികയാണ്. ഇംഗ്ലണ്ടിലെ രാജകൊട്ടാരം മുതൽ മുംബൈയിലെ ചേരികൾ വരെ കൊറോണ ബാധിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞു. രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ അതിരുകൾ മാത്രമല്ല, ഓരോ പൗരന്റെയും വീട്ടുവാതിലുകൾ വരെ അടച്ചിടാൻ കൊറോണ കാരണമായി. അപരനോടുള്ള പകയും വംശീയ വിദ്വേഷവും പ്രകടിപ്പിക്കാൻ പകർച്ചവ്യാധികളെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന രീതി ചരിത്രത്തിലുടനീളം കാണാം. 1348 കറുത്ത മരണം എന്ന പേരിൽ പ്ലേഗ് യൂറോപ്പിൽ പടർന്നു പിടിച്ചപ്പോൾ അത് പാപികളായ ജൂതന്മാർ പരത്തുന്ന തിന്മയാണെന്ന് ആരോപിച്ച് ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് നിരപരാധികളെ കത്തോലിക്ക സഭ ചുട്ടുകൊന്നിരുന്നു. COVID-19 രോഗം ലോകമെങ്ങും പരക്കുമ്പോൾ പ്രതിരോധ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിൽ മാധ്യമങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള പങ്ക് വളരെ വലുതാണ്. പ്രതിരോധത്തെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ശരിയായ വിവരങ്ങൾ ജനങ്ങളെ അറിയിക്കാൻ കേരളത്തിലെ മാധ്യമങ്ങൾക്ക് കഴിയുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ വ്യാജ വാർത്തകൾ പരക്കുന്നത് തടയാനും അവരുടെ ഇടപെടൽ വഴി സാധിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ നോക്കൂ, പത്രങ്ങളുടെ തലക്കെട്ടുകൾ തന്നെ ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ വ്യക്തമാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. മലയാള പത്രങ്ങളിൽ വന്ന ചില തലക്കെട്ടുകൾ കൊറോണയെ സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ളത് ഞാൻ ഒന്ന് സൂചിപ്പിക്കാം. വീണ്ടും കൊറോണ, മുൾമുനയിൽ ജാഗ്രത, അതിജാഗ്രത, ആശങ്ക വേണ്ട, ജാഗ്രത മതി, ജാഗ്രതയും കരുതലും, കരുതൽ, ജാഗ്രത, പിടിച്ചുകെട്ടാൻ കേരളം, ചങ്കുറപ്പോടെ കേരളം, കഥകടച്ച് കേരളം, പഴുതടച്ച് കേരളം, പിടിവിടാതെ, ശമിക്കാതെ, വിടാതെ എന്നിങ്ങനെ പോകുകയാണ് കൊറോണയെ സംബന്ധിച്ച തലക്കെട്ടുകൾ. രോഗത്തെ തടയാനുള്ള ഉപാധി ആവശ്യത്തിൽ കൂടുതൽ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കാതിരിക്കുക എന്നതാണ്. മനുഷ്യനെ വിരളി പിടിപ്പിക്കുന്ന രീതിയിൽ വാർത്തകൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കാതിരിക്കുക എന്നതാണ് യഥാർത്ഥ മാധ്യമ ധർമ്മം. അതിവേഗം പ്രചരിക്കുന്ന വ്യാജ വാർത്തകൾ കോവിഡിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് ഒരു പ്രശ്നം തന്നെയാണ്. കടുകോളം വരുന്ന സത്യശകലത്തിൽ നിന്ന് കടലോളം വരുന്ന വ്യാജ വാസ്തവങ്ങൾ നിർമ്മിക്കുന്ന സത്യാനന്തര കാലത്ത് മഹാമാരിയെ സംബന്ധിച്ചും ധാരാളം വ്യാജ വാർത്തകൾ ഇന്ന് സൃഷ്ടിക്കപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. സ്വന്തം ആന്തരിക ശരീരശകലത്തെ ആശുപത്രി പരിശോധനയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടി ഫോർമാലിൻ നിറച്ച ചെറുകുപ്പിയിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയ തീവണ്ടി യാത്രികനായ സാബു എന്ന ചെറുപ്പക്കാരനെ ഗോമാംസം കടത്തുന്നവനായി ചിത്രീകരിച്ച് തല്ലിക്കൊല്ലുന്ന ആൾക്കൂട്ടത്തിന്റെ കഥ പറയുന്ന NS മാധവന്റെ പാലുപിരിയും കാലം സത്യാനന്തര കാലത്തെ വ്യാജ വാർത്താ നിർമ്മാണത്തിനുള്ള ഒരു നല്ല ഉദാഹരണമാണ്. ഇത് തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പാൻഡമിക് കാലത്ത് നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ധാരാളം വ്യാജ വാർത്തകൾ, സത്യമേത് ശരിയേത് എന്ന് വായനക്കാരെ കുഴമറിക്കുന്ന വാർത്താശകലങ്ങൾ. വളരെ കാലികവും പ്രസക്തവുമായിട്ടുള്ള ഈ വിഷയത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കാൻ നമ്മുടെ ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് ഈ വെബിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന എത്രയും ബഹുമാന്യനായ പ്രൊഫസർ G.Suresh സാറിനെ ഞാൻ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി കൊല്ലം ശ്രീനാരായണ കോളേജിന് വേണ്ടി സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ ഉപസംഹരിക്കുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം. താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you, Sunil Kumar sir. And let me introduce Professor G.Suresh. Professor G.Suresh is a senior journalist, columnist, educationalist, socio-political commentator, and communication strategist. He is currently serving as Vice Chancellor, Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, Asia's first and India's oldest and largest media university. Earlier, he has served as Director General, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, India's premier media training institution, Senior Consulting Editor with Doordarshan News, India's public news broadcaster, Founder, Dean, School of Modern Media, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun, Editorial Consultant with Asianet News Network, Chief Political Correspondent with Press Trust of India, and Group Media Advisor to Dalmia Bharat Enterprises Limited. He is a recipient of the prestigious Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi Award for Outstanding Contribution to Journalism by the Kendriya Hindi Sansthan, Ministry of Education, Government of India. Recognizing his commitment to creating awareness on media literacy, The state government of Madhya Pradesh has nominated him as a member of its COVID advisory committee, along with Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi and leading doctors, and headed by the Chief Minister. Professor Suresh is a member of the Academic Council of the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Society of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata, Research Committee of Indian Council of Social Science Research, Governing Board of the Consortium for Educational Communication, UGC, Governing Body, Vigyan Prasad, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Advisory Council, Delhi School of Journalism, University of Delhi, then Academic Council, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, and the School Board of Abanindranath Tagore School of Creative Arts and Communication Studies, Assam University, Silchar. He is a member of the Awards Selection Committee and co-chair of Program Advisory Committee of the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He has also served as Emeritus Professor at the Jagran Lake City University and APJ Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi, and Honorary Professor with APJ University, India's first liberal arts university. As Director General at IIMC, Professor Suresh gave a major push to Indian language journalism at the prestigious institute, introducing Marathi and Malayalam journalism from its Amravati, Maharashtra, and Kottayam, Kerala campus, respectively. It was during his tenure that IIMC built its own campuses in Kottayam, Kerala, and Aizawl, Mizoram. His other major initiatives included establishment of the Community Radio Empowerment and Resource Center at IIMC. As senior consulting editor with Doordarshan News, Professor Suresh played a pivotal role in introducing many innovative programs besides DD's first Android-enabled app, serving Press Trust of India, PTI, in different capacities for over a decade. Professor Suresh has traveled across India and the world to cover latest developments. He has also covered both houses of parliament extensively. He is a visiting professor at coveted media universities and a resource person for leading national level training programs. Professor Suresh was designated Commonwealth Youth Ambassador for Peace by Commonwealth Youth Program Asia. With a rich professional cross-media experience of over 3 decades, Professor Suresh is a recipient of Prem Bhatia Fellowship for Research in Media by Young Journalist. A postgraduate in mass communications, Professor Suresh successfully completed a public health journalism experiential course at the University of Oxford, UK. In December 2017, Professor Suresh has conferred with the PRSI Leadership Award, the highest award for outstanding contribution to the public relations profession, at the 39th All India Public Relations Conference at Andhra Pradesh. A TEDx speaker, Professor Suresh was a member of the prestigious feature film jury and non-fiction jury of Indian and international film festivals. He has extensively traveled across India and the world, including Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Sri Lanka. Let's go on. Sir, I have said, sir, 90% of your profile. Please pardon. Now, humbly request Professor G.Suresh sir to start our session. Over to Suresh sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. S. Jisha, for that warm welcome and introduction. Respected Principal of the Srinarayana College, Dr. Sunil Kumar, Ms. Chinu Chandran, Program Coordinator, Dr. S. Jayashree, who is the NAC Coordinator of the college, and very respected faculty members of the prestigious Srinarayana College, Kollam, and research scholars, dear students, and I'm told there are also students from other colleges who have joined this. I see a lot of students in the chat box who are joining, who are from different disciplines, from Malayalam to philosophy to environmental science. So a great gathering, not just of media, students, because this is too important a subject that I believe that it should not be confined to media students alone. I always say that media is too important in a democracy to be left to media persons alone. every person, every reader, every viewer, every listener is a stakeholder in this entire media business, in this entire media profession. So we all have our stake because we are the biggest consumers. And everybody present here is consuming media in some or the other way. And with the advent of this pandemic, we have seen how, everybody, right from children to senior citizens, are getting exposed hugely to media, unprecedented in human history, confined to our homes, working from home, studying from home. We are watching media, we are listening to media, we are reading media 24/7 into 365. And there is obviously the floodgates of information have opened. So congratulations to the college, to the Central Library Club, and the Literary Club and the Media Club for organizing this wonderful program on Infodemic in times of pandemic. And I must compliment the students of Kerala also, that on a Sunday evening, when it's relaxation time, because from next day onwards, it's even work from home or from studying from home, online classes, you have chosen to have your weekend evening listening to me. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. So greetings from Asia's first and India's biggest and oldest media university, the Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, the city of lakes. Great connecting with Kerala always. I came there about 2 years back and had addressed a public meeting in Calicut, in Kozhikode, and always a pleasure. So namaskarams to everybody. Friends, as I said, the floodgates of information have opened. So obviously when the flood comes, a lot of stuff other than water also comes. So you get the slush, you get all kinds of dirt, and that's coming right now also. You have witnessed unprecedented floods in Kerala a couple of years back. So you have seen how homes were devastated. So similar is the case with this infodemic. Infodemic is an overdose of information, which each one of us is getting exposed to every day. Am I audible, Jisha?
Yeah, sure, sir. Audible.
Okay. Now, I want to focus, when we talk about infodemic, particularly in reference to pandemic, you see misinformation, disinformation, fake news, fake content, propaganda. These are all terms which we always have used in the context of political communication, in terms of ideological propaganda. But these certainly have a very powerful impact on the society. But when it comes to infodemic during pandemic, it has a devastating impact on individuals, each one of us, because it is concerning public health. So we have had instances of all kinds of information being passed on, particularly through social media, ever since the advent of social media, ahead of elections, for political campaigns. But they had their limited targeted audience, limited objective, unlike infodemic, which has a direct impact on even the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich. It can manipulate even the most educated people, because the content is being provided, dished out in such a manner that it looks so authentic. It looks so, so that is the way it is projected. Let me see if I can share a small content with you. Can I share the screen, Jisha?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Uh,
The lower panel, there is a share screen button in green color.
Zoom has to allow me to, you know,
It's okay, sir.
have you given me?
Yeah, it's already permitted. You are the co-host also. Sir, is there the PPT file or YouTube video, sir?
No, it's a PPT file. I wish I could.
Please open the file and later on you can browse it through the share screen option.
Okay. I have just one sec. Let me see. Let me see if it is possible. Otherwise, we will go with the. Can you see anything right now?
Not it, sir.
Not yet. Okay. Just one sec. My apologies. There is a technical issue. Let me come back to you. My apologies. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Some technical glitch there.
Sir, could you, are you able to share screen?
No, I'm not able to. So let's do one thing. It's okay. I'll keep speaking.
Okay.
Then, you know, kind of. Okay. So this, as I said, Infodemic. Just once again, let me make a last attempt because that would really enable me to.
First open the file and later on you can browse it.
I'm trying to. Just give me a minute. You can see me now? Hello?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Audible.
I am visible?
Visible, sure.
Okay, thank you. So let me come to straight away to, you know, what is an infodemic? An infodemic is an overabundance of information, which is both online and offline. It includes deliberate attempts to disseminate wrong information to undermine the public health response and advance alternative agendas of groups or individuals. Now, let me tell you that only today, now from tomorrow, that is June 21st, in my state of Madhya Pradesh, the Chief Minister has given a call for a Maha vaccination Abhiyan. That means a massive vaccination campaign. So what we have done is that this decision was conveyed to us only last evening, and this morning, from this morning to evening, we have our students have already put out 200 videos urging people to vaccinate. Now, why? Because across the country, we see a resistance to vaccination because of this infodemic. There are powerful anti-vaccinator lobbies which are in place. Few years back, I was part of the World Health Organization polio review committee, polio communication review committee, and we had visited Western UP, Hooghly in West Bengal, where we found that misinformation, disinformation pertaining to pulse polio, they were disseminated in the society, as a result of which whole communities were opposing polio vaccination of their children, due to which a lot of children got affected with polio, because they were told that it is going to impact their fertility when they grow up. It is going to make them impotent if they take the pulse polio drops. So this was the kind of, there was a whole polio resistance. In countries like Pakistan, health workers were shot dead because they were taking polio vaccination to the villages, to the rural areas. So this kind of disinformation was spread all over. Now, mis and disinformation can be harmful to people's physical and mental health. It can increase stigmatization, threaten precious health gains, and lead to poor observance of public health measures, thus reducing their effectiveness and endangering the country's ability to stop the pandemic. Audrey Azoulay, the Director General of UNESCO, on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day, that is on May 3rd, in her message, she said that at a time when we are mired in worry and uncertainty because of the coronavirus disease, free information is essential to helping us face, understand, think about, and overcome this crisis. We see a lot of videos today. The other day, I was listening to Devi Shetty, one of the renowned cardiologists based out of Bangalore. He was saying that his hospital is located in a posh upmarket area of Bangalore. And there in that hospital, they were offering vaccination. And there were very few takers from that area, which is a very posh upmarket educated neighborhood. So this resistance to vaccination is not just among the uneducated or illiterate or semi-literate people, but it is there even among the rich people, even among the affluent, even among the highly educated people who feel that, who are influenced by the messages that they get on the WhatsApp University. And they are influenced by that to the extent that they think that, no, let's not get vaccinated. So on the one hand, you find reports that there is a vaccine shortage in the country. On the other hand, you have many instances. I have seen television reports, media reports, wherein you have residents of the upmarket Greater Noida near Delhi who are going to villages in the neighborhood to get themselves vaccinated because the villagers at the primary health centers were not taking the vaccines. So you have both the extremes. The qualified people in Bangalore not taking vaccines, the villagers in Western Uttar Pradesh not taking. So there is a similarity because both are, if there is one factor that is responsible for, say, similar behavioral pattern on the part of both the audiences, this is it. So we are all vulnerable to fall for misinformation and manipulation, irrespective of our age and educational background. Now, this is something that we need to understand. Now, what is misinformation? Misinformation is information that is false but the person who is disseminating believes that it is true. So you will get a lot of your relatives who are forwarding WhatsApp messages to you because they think it's a relevant information. They don't bother to check the veracity because there is some information which they feel is, useful to you. That may be from a friend. They are forwarding it. They are disseminating it. Somebody has told them that, if you put a couple of drops of lime juice in your nose, you will get cured of COVID. So they will innocently send it to you. This is not deliberate, but this misinformation can cost lives. Without appropriate trust and correct information, diagnostic tests go unused. Immunization campaigns will not meet their targets, and the virus will continue to thrive. Again, sorry. Now, there was this entire theory of how lemon therapy, it will boost immunity. So PIB, Press Information Bureau of the Government of India under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, had to release a statement saying that a video is being shared on social media which claims that putting just 2 drops of lemon juice in the nose will kill coronavirus immediately. And the PIB fact check said that the claim made in the video is fake. There is no scientific evidence that COVID-19 can be eliminated by adding lemon juice to the nose. Now, this is the kind of information, which is being disseminated. I don't know how many of you, saw that, because most of you are younger generation and you are using a lot of social media. There was a fake content again, disinformation. Now this is disinformation. And that disinformation was that Nobel laureate Luc Montagnier says vaccinated people will die within 2 years. Now, why is this disinformation? What is the difference between misinformation and disinformation? Misinformation was passed out of ignorance, innocence, out of good faith, but not having the right information. On the part of journalists, it happens when you don't do ground reporting and when your reports are based on Google search rather than ground level research. And you don't do your homework. You don't get both sides of the story. You don't get all versions of the story. You go by a unidimensional story. You go by only one version of the story. You don't bother to check, cross-check, verify. So the fundamental principles of journalism, when it is not followed, the checking, cross-checking, verifying, cross-verifying, that results in misinformation. That may not be, as I said, on the part of the journalist, a deliberate exercise, an intentional exercise, but unwittingly, he has passed on misinformation because he did not do the homework, he did not do the spade work, he did not do the necessary research. Then you have disinformation, which is information which is false. But the person who is disseminating knows that it is false. It is a deliberate, intentional lie which is meant to mislead, misguide, with the objective of wreaking havoc in society, with the objective of misguiding the people. So the disinformation is polarizing public debate on topics related to COVID-19, amplifying hate speech, heightening the risk of conflict, violence, and human rights violations, and threatening long-term prospects for advancing social cohesion. Now, this is something that is important. Now, in this light, you should see this WhatsApp message, which was widely circulated, claiming that the Nobel laureate has said that vaccinated people will die. Now, the claim was attributed to the French virologist. The fact is that there is no evidence that Montagnier said this. The claim was flagged by Facebook Claim Check, which is a tool for monitoring dubious content. again, another message which went viral was that the black mold on onions and inside refrigerators do not cause mucormycosis. This was, the viral that it can cause mucormycosis, but the reality is that it cannot. There is this web portal, Vishwas News, which spoke to Nikhil Modi of Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. He also clarified that the black mold on onion is different from black fungus. But of course, one should always clean foods before consuming. So the black mold that you find on onions and others that form in the refrigerators are different from mucormycosis, which is causing the black fungus. So that was again a fake content which was widely circulated. Now, another claim that was made on the media, social media during the lockdown period was that a message that if you post anything related to coronavirus on social media, it has been declared by the government as a punishable offense. And the viral message said that all honorable members of, and these are WhatsApp groups, are informed that right now any post related to coronavirus has been declared a punishable offense by the central government. Only a government agency can post on corona. But the message was blatantly false. There was no such order by the government of India, and it was attributed to one Mr. Ravi Nayak in the Ministry of Home Affairs. But such a person does not exist in the Ministry of Home Affairs, which was later found by people who are into fact checking. Now, another fake news which was widely circulated. Now, this is an instance of what happened in Mumbai. Mumbai was impacted by COVID-19 in a big way, particularly during the second. Now, what has happened is that 1,000 bedded COVID-19 care hospital has been set up by the armed forces, by the army, in Mumbai. Now, it said that this is to inform you that from today onwards, 1,000-bed facility is initiated by the armed forces from 8 hours today for admission of all confirmed corona patients. So this was a 1,000-bedded COVID care hospital. Now, this did not happen. But what had happened was that similar incidents had happened during the entire corona. During the first lockdown, in Delhi, when trains were stopped, buses were stopped, suddenly a news went viral that in the Delhi-UP border, you have buses which are waiting to take the migrants to their respective states in UP, MP, Bihar. And you had thousands and thousands of people who had crowded those places just to get into a bus, and there was no bus which was available. But these were really spread. They took every possible mean to reach the Delhi, UP border to get those buses, which did not, exist. In Mumbai, you had people who thronged the Bandra railway station because they were told that trains were leaving for different states during the height of the pandemic. But again, it did not, So this 1,000-bed hospital story was also a big lie, and the Mumbai Defense Ministry PRO has said that this is totally fake. He shared the screen scan on the message and said that it has no basis and it's a fake news, because it would have really, impacted a lot of people. Now, what are the implications of public health communication? Because I also would like to, listen to the students and answer their queries. So false information has increased stigmatization, which becomes a barrier to seeking care for those who need it. In some cases, it has led to violence against healthcare workers. You have seen many videos on television wherein doctors were beaten up, paramedics were beaten up. because of the misinformation, disinformation spread on, through infodemic as a result of infodemic. Misinformation also has an impact on trust in science, trust in institutions, and trust in the health systems. So in this pandemic, you have, in all health emergency, trust and solidarity are very critical, and everything that undermines this puts lives at risks. In this context, I would like to, remind or recall what UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres had said. He said that COVID-19 pandemic is also a communication emergency. Because of this infodemic, all kinds of information is being passed on, and it's not that it's happening only in India. I recently addressed a workshop, an India-Greece workshop on, on infodemic, and there I had students from Greece who shared how many in European countries you had fake, WhatsApp contents which were widely circulated. So this is not something that was confined to India alone, but come to think of it, that this is happening even in the advanced West, where the literacy levels are much higher. So in India, when you have morphed photographs, manipulated videos, doctored videos, it can have, a lot of implications. Now, this is what the UN Secretary General said. He said that as soon as the virus spread across the globe, inaccurate and even dangerous messages proliferated widely over the social media, leaving people confused, misled, and ill-advised. The antidote lies in making sure that science-based facts and health guidance circulate even faster and reach people wherever they access information. This is what the UN Secretary General had said, the needs for. So now vaccine hesitancy is something which is due to false information, lack of sufficient and transparent information, lack of trust in government and public agencies. No, they are out to do some mischief. There are religious factors which impact vaccine hesitancy. This is something we should. But there are also very positive, narratives which are going on, which show that, as I told you, my own students had put out 200 videos in a day, just to encourage people to vaccinate. We have stories of how even 118-year-old woman in Madhya Pradesh got herself vaccinated against COVID-19. I know of media friends who are holding very critical positions in language media. So they tell me that in the initial stages itself, there were stories which focused on, filed by stringers from local, from districts and rural areas, saying that people were apprehensive that it could lead to infertility. It could lead to impotence. But the editor decided not to publish such stories because it was not based on any facts. It was just based on rumors. So media has to be extremely cautious while disseminating such information. So that has to be kept in mind. So infodemic, how can you manage infodemic? Infodemic management is the systematic use of risk and evidence-based analysis. Jisha in her introduction, referred to my, undergoing that course, experiential course at the Oxford University. What we did was that we designed India's first public health communication course in collaboration. At that time, I was the Director General of IIMC, and we brought in India's first critical appraisal skills program focusing on evidence-based reporting in public health communication. We trained not only our faculty and the students from across the country, all campuses, but also we trained journalists working in leading newspapers. So evidence-based at Makhanlal, our university also, we have trained our faculty and teachers, students, and the journalists who are in our different campuses on this, on infodemic, and as also the importance of evidence-based reporting, which is based on evidence, authoritative evidence, not based on rumors, because public health communication is something that directly, so that includes, infodemic management aims to enable good health practices through mainly 4 types of activities. listening to community concerns and questions, promoting understanding of risk and health expert advice, building resilience to misinformation, engaging and empowering communities to take positive action. So what is the need of the hour? What you and I see a lot of a ray of hope when I am addressing these students from, different discipline. You see, media literacy, I've been, calling for a national media literacy mission. Media literacy is not just for media students. We should make every student right from school, from primary school level, media literate. They should know how media can be manipulated, how, infodemic can spread, how fake content, fake narrative morphed, because India is the largest consumer of videos. Videos can be manipulated, doctored. So all kinds of, so how to check, fact-checking initiatives, Google, Facebook, a lot of universities have undertaken fact-checking initiatives. So we need to, and there are fact-checking websites, there are fact-checking handles like PIB, many state governments have their own fact-checking. And you and I, as responsible citizens of this country, we should also engage in fact-checking before sharing anything, liking anything, tweeting anything, retweeting anything. Please put on your thinking caps, go a little deep into the subject, use your common sense, go to reliable websites to check whether this is right or not. Do a reverse image search in Google to see whether the photograph or video which is being claimed to be belonging to one particular area is actually the same video, or has it been taken from somewhere else. Only then and then you should share, tweet or retweet. So media technology companies, civil society, researchers and people everywhere should ensure that the infodemic doesn't spread, because truth matters as never before today. So now you have to connect, be accessible and present on all platforms. You have to help users to find good content where it is. You have to be relevant. You should understand the language, listen creatively, add value, insight, experience, context, fact-checking, balance, accuracy. This is very important. You have to, you may have your political, ideological preferences, but when it comes to facts, I would say that don't be an activist, be a factivist. Go by the facts. That's important. Be human, show empathy to diversity, be constructive and transparency. Whenever you share something, show the sources. Be accountable for what you share, tweet, retweet, and allow criticism. There may be times when you may tweet something, you would realize that, this has been inadvertently, there has been some mistake. I point it out when my friends tweet something, share something. I tell them, I may send it, either share it with them and I tell them that, look, there is some problem. So it's always better that, rather than 10,000 people, before it reaches 10,000 people, you are able to check, one information. That's very important. Well, you should go by reliable sources, which includes the Indian Council of Medical Research, Ministry of Health, state health ministries, public health departments, local administration, World Health Organization, news media, fact-checking websites, before you, trust that, anybody, any information. Now, these are some of the things that I thought that I should share with you. I believe that I have already, taken a lot of your time. Sorry for the initial glitch. I wanted to show something. Maybe I can share it with Dr. Jisha later. Due to some technical hiccup, we were not able to do it. My apologies. So this is what I wanted to tell you about the importance of understanding this infodemic in these times of pandemic, because this is critical and this is happening in all the languages, not just in English. It's happening in all the languages. So one has to be very careful. One has to be very cautious. One has to use social media very, very responsibly. before sharing, liking, tweeting, retweeting, before believing in anything. So on that note, thank you, Sri Narayana College, Kollam, for inviting me to share my thoughts on this very critical issue in these times of pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suresh sir, for the precious words. And we have some questions, sir. Hello.
Yes, please. Yes.
Sir, shall I read out?
Yeah.
From Dr. K. Radhakrishnan. Professor Suresh sir, good evening. Very nice presentation. I am a person who had taken the first dose of vaccine. My question is that why we are focusing on one system of medicine and sidelining other systems of medicine. I'm a person working on ethnomedicine and taking homeomedicine since 2020 July. I'm a person who respects all systems of medicine and they got a science of their own. My humble request is to look on other systems of medicine with the same eye. Remember that many of the drugs in modern medicine leads from ethnomedicine. Another point is that persons who have taken 2 doses of vaccine got infected. Please respond and take my queries positively. This is a vast subject which needs serious discussion and action. Stopping here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Thank you so much. I totally agree with you. I am also a supporter of holistic medicine. No single pathy has the solution to all of humanity's problem. The state of Kerala is very famous for its Ayurvedic traditions. And there are many, I can vouch for it, that I know so many people who have benefited in certain diseases from Ayurveda. I also know of so many people who have got benefited from homeopathy, from Siddha, from Unani. So from yoga, from naturopathy, to say that all other systems of medicine are bunkam. Every system has, but yes, in an emergency situation, you generally say a heart attack or a road accident, you generally rush to an allopathy hospital, not to an Ayurvedic or naturopathy center. So every system of medicine has its own uniqueness. And yes, in terms of boosting immunity, Ayurvedic medicines, the government of India has an Ayush ministry dedicated to it, and a lot of herb-based, kadas and other things have been prepared which boost the immunity, But in terms of cure, nobody is yet to, any system of medicine has not claimed so far any cure. But yes, in terms of both preventive and in terms of post-COVID care, which is also very important, because there is something called a long COVID. So after you come out of COVID, you have a long way to go. Sometimes it takes years. I know a friend who was infected last year, who is still suffering breathing problems, who is suffering respiratory problems. So they still suffer from, other issues. So long COVID is there. So other systems of medicine can also prove very helpful in, but in emergency situation, when you need an oxygen bed, you need a ventilator, you have to go to the, allopathy hospital. So let's not be dismissive of any pathy. There is no, we are dealing with a new problem. We are dealing with a problem about whose evolution itself we are still confused. We are not sure whether it is a man-made virus, whether it is a natural virus, whether it was manipulated in a laboratory. We are not sure where it came from. I think the jury is still out. We are yet to come to any conclusion. Similarly, medicine, no actual medicine has come. We are trying. We tried hydrochloroquine. Then we went for plasma therapy. Then we went for remdesivir, which have also been taken out of the WHO protocol. So every day we are learning. We are learning about the, now new mutants are coming, new variants are coming. So the Delta is there. Then the Delta Plus has come now. So then you are hearing about, black fungus, green fungus, white fungus. So we are still to come to terms with this entire thing. So obviously one pathy alone cannot be, looked upon as a savior. We need to look at different pathies for, any solution, post-COVID care, immunity, improving our immunity, resistance. And you have rightly said that, yes, there have been some cases where, but nowhere. I mean, recently the government studied about 36 cases where death has taken place. Only in one case, they felt that there is a death which has occurred following the, for other cases, vaccination had nothing to do. It was a natural, some died of a heart attack, some died of other comorbidities. But of millions of people who have been, vaccinated, there have been very few cases where any deaths have taken place. And I think that repeatedly, whether it is the Indian Council of Medical Research or experts globally, they're saying that, the vaccination helps you from getting the problem from becoming serious. You may get infected, but it won't affect you the way it would affect you if you're not vaccinated. You may not, become a casualty. So these are things that we should keep in mind. The vaccination certainly has proved to be, in fact, after vaccination, many European countries have opened up. They are now even, people are no more using even the COVID appropriate behavior, including masking. I think that vaccination is certainly a very important, but we need to be cautious, and we need to go in for, yes, other systems of medicines also can be helpful.
Sir, one question from Juno. Do steaming an effective mother to avoid the pandemic, as WhatsApp messages are flooded with this idea, steaming?
Well, I am not a doctor as such, but yes, we go by commonsensical approach also. We drink a lot of hot water. We drink a lot of, because we believe that, when you use heat, it kills bacteria, it kills virus. So that is the perception. So when the steam goes inside the nose, the heat, ensures that the foreign elements are taken care of. So this is the concept behind this. So as I said, that many things are still not conclusively established scientifically, but well, it doesn't harm you. So what is the harm? You take steam to ensure that, in any case, every day, if you take steam after coming out from this polluted cities and polluted towns, I think it's good for, your health also. So look at it from that point of view, not that it would save you from getting infected.
Sir, one question, COVID or Covishield or Covaxin, which is better? So taking you as a physician.
The jury is still out. You see, I have taken Covaxin. There are many friends who have taken Covishield. It's an AstraZeneca, but there have been some cases where, people have suffered a lot of problems after taking the Covishield, including headaches and fever and all that. And now reports are coming. Sputnik has a 90% efficacy. AstraZeneca has 60%. So all kinds of these things. The jury is still out, but I still believe that, vaccination is good. It at least gives you some level of protection. It's like, you are going out in a heavy rain and you are carrying an umbrella or a raincoat. It's not that you won't get, wet. I mean, water will still, sprinkle on your face, on your hair, but at least it reduces the impact, even if you won't get drenched if you take an umbrella with you or a raincoat with you. Unlike when you go straight into the rain, you will get totally drenched. So I believe that it offers a certain level, but it is still being studied. Is it good against the new virus, the variant? Is it good against Delta? These things are still being studied. So I believe that, the jury is still out, but yes, vaccination, any form of vaccination is certainly going to protect you, give you protection to some level. Some go for 2 doses, some go for, maybe multiple doses in the coming days, but you should get vaccinated. Yes.
So one question, COVID-19, a boon or bane to public? What's your opinion?
Which one?
COVID-19, a boon or bane?
It cannot be a boon.
What is your opinion?
No, you see, it cannot be a boon when thousands of lakhs of people have died, So I don't look at it as a boon. But if it teaches us some lesson, we human beings some lessons. I think we should take it as, I won't call it even a blessing in disguise, but it's a good lesson that we have learned at a very high price, about COVID appropriate behavior, about the need for sanitization. We had spoiled ourselves like anything, and we had spoiled the environment like anything. I mean, today I feel bad when I saw all these, cyclone, Tokte, cyclone coming from all sides, the eastern coast, western coast. Arabian Sea used to be so peaceful, but today from Kerala to Gujarat, the entire western coast is affected. So climate change is happening. Our consumption patterns have changed like anything. We have become a highly consumerist society. So, we are indulging in, so many, I would say that practices which are, so destructive for the environment. So the carbon emissions have gone up like anything. We are cutting trees. I mean, so I believe that but the problem is that, there is something called in North India, they say Shamshana Vairag, which means that when you go to the cremation ground, at that time you feel that, oh, life is so meaningless, and it is nothing is worth it. Why are we chasing money? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? But once you come out of the cremation ground, it is back to the cutthroat competition. It's back to all that. So it is called Shamshana Vairag. When you go to the Shamshan, at that time, you feel, oh no, nothing, no meaning, nothing. Young man died at such a young age, so successful. So what is the point? No point. Let me be a great man from tomorrow. But the moment he goes out, and if anybody tries to go past his car, he will immediately ensure that he, speeds up and defeats him in that car race. So similarly, I think after this COVID experience, at least we should not get back to our old habits. I think we should realize that, humanity as a whole, it is impacted, and we should at least learn some big lessons from it in terms of our health structure, infrastructure, our social behavior, our priorities as a nation, of health, education, literacy. I think we should be looking at all those things, Yes.
Sir, many questions on a same theme. Are there any methods for checking this credibility? How to identify the fake news?
Are there any
tips for identifying the credibility of the news, and how we can identify the fake news?
Google, I would suggest, Jisha, since you are a very progressive college, please either go for a Facebook or a Google training program. They have fact-checking training which is being conducted in different institutions. And if you are interested, even our university can conduct a, workshop
Sure,
for your teachers and your students.
Sure, sir. We are interested.
New media technology, you can send an official mail to me from your principal, and we can certainly look at that, and so we can organize that. We will tell you step by step how to verify news. And as I told you, I mean, you should use your common sense. You should, go for verify, cross-verify, but that's a long process that we will be able to impart to you, or anybody else. If you can approach somebody who can provide you that kind of training, but we will be happy to conduct that training for you as an institution. So please do write to us. We will be happy to, because we are India's largest university, media university. So we are duty bound to, conduct such trainings. We will be happy.
One more question from Amal Hussain. Sir, when we look into African countries during the first effect of COVID-19, there the authority of the country, every country in Africa doesn't follow any of the protocol of WHO. And it is not a fake news. And there were no COVID cases. And so many of the travelers and bloggers gone there and proving that the only place COVID-19 doesn't affect. And slowly, president in the countries who opposed the protocol were started to disappear. Why it is happening, and now it is affected, why?
Okay. You are saying there are cases in many countries where it has not affected.
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah, so I think that is something that needs to be studied if it has not happened. And that is also one reason why, that there are a lot of people are asking questions that why only specific countries have been badly affected. Is it because it is a lab experimented which has been tested? Is it a limited warfare that has been engaged in by a particular country against its adversaries? So all kinds of questions are there, that how within a short span of a month, say from April to May, the situation peaked. All these questions are coming. As I said, the jury is still out. We do not know the reasons why the outbreak happened, why this second wave was so devastating. What is going to happen in the third wave? Is it going to come at all or not? So the jury is still out. A lot of investigation. US has called for investigations. A lot of countries have asked for investigation into the role of countries like China. So, I mean, that is something that needs to be studied. So it would be too premature to jump to any conclusion right now. But obviously, there are things which needs to, as you rightly said, that there are many parts which have not been affected. We do not know the situation in China itself. Where how many people have actually died and what, so we do not know what is the situation. So I think that globally it is being studied. We need to see. Jury is still out. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The questions are over. And shall we wind up the session?
Yeah, please. I mean.
Okay, sir. Now I invite Ms. Chinnu Chandran for the formal out of thanks. Over to Chinnu.
Am I audible, Miss?
Yeah, sure.
Good evening to all. As a member of the Media Club, it's an honor for me to express my gratitude to everyone present here on this day. The topic of today's webinar, Infodemic in the times of pandemic, gains significance in this 21st century post-truth environment characterized by lies, propaganda, and fake news. Deception becomes more prevalent in this current media-driven world where truth has been eclipsed and apathy towards falsehood is shaping and manipulating public opinion. Our resource person, Professor G.Suresh sir, spoke about how an excessive amount of information related to COVID-19 spread rapidly and how it stands as a big hurdle in finding a solution to curb and mitigate this problem. According to WHO, the COVID-19 related infodemic is just as dangerous as the virus itself. Thank you, Suresh sir, for opening our eyes towards the harmful effects of fake news, disinformation, and misinformation related to the pandemic and how it generates fear, panic, and anxieties in common people that pushes them into a chronic state of mental and physical trauma. Your presentation is very relevant in this current crisis. And so you inspired us to become factimist. Yes, we are going to be factimist to save ourselves from information epidemic. Throughout the presentation, you were active, pleasant, and vibrant. Your interaction with the participants was also very lively, and I hope that it helped them clarify their doubts regarding the topic. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the members of the Media Club, Literary Club, Central Library, and the entire fraternity of SN College Kollam, I express my sincere gratitude and wish you all the best in your future academic endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chinnu. It was a real pleasure interacting with your brilliant faculty and the students. And you can all stay connected with me through social media, through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google search me. And anytime I'm available for the SN College for any training, which we will be happy to provide to all the participants. It was a pleasure. Thank you once again for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my sincere gratitude to our principal, Dr. R. Sunilkumar sir, a committed leader who is known for his great vision in executing innovative academic strategies for our institution. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. G.Suresh ma'am, IQSC coordinator and head of the Department of Economics for her support and guidance in planning and organizing the webinar. Her thoughtfulness, leadership skills, and administrative efficiency as IQSC coordinator motivate and inspire us to strive hard for the betterment of our institution. Thank you, ma'am. My heart goes out to Dr. Jisha ma'am, the general convener of Agora series. She's a vibrant personality, passionate and enthusiastic about her profession. Her dedication, sincerity, and commitment to whatever mission she takes up is truly inspirational. Thank you, Jisha ma'am. We have been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of motivated and dedicated faculty members in Literary Club, Media Club, and the Central Library of SN College, Kollam. Thank you for all your thank you for the coordinators for your active involvement in organizing the webinar. And I mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all the students, teachers, and research scholars, academicians for their active participation. Looking forward to your desirable presence in the other webinars also. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shinu. Thank you so much.